You stopped. At some point, maybe 45, maybe 52, you just stopped. The gym membership expired. The runs got shorter. Then the runs stopped altogether. And you told yourself it was temporary. You told yourself you'd get back to it when things slowed down. Things never slowed down. I know, because I said the exact same thing. Here's the thing. Your body kept score the whole time you weren't paying attention. The back that aches in the morning. The stomach you stopped looking at in the mirror. The staircase that somehow got steeper than it used to be. That's not age. That's compound interest on years of neglect. And the worst part, you already know this. You felt it this morning. So the question isn't whether something needs to change. The question is whether you're ready to do something about it without becoming a different person. Stay, because that's exactly what we're talking about today. And here's the thing. I'm not going to tell you about diets. I'm not going to tell you to count calories or buy some powder. That's not this conversation. This is a conversation about what happens to a man when he stops taking care of himself, and what you can do about it without blowing your whole life up. No coaching, no lists, just what I learned, because there was no other way out. It was 2003. I was 41, running a shop on Route 9, working 6 days a week. I remember one Tuesday in October. I can't explain why I remember it was a Tuesday, but I do. I bent down to pick up a wrench off the floor and couldn't straighten up for about 30 seconds. Just stood there, bent over in my own garage, waiting to see if my spine was going to cooperate. My guy Danny was right there. He didn't say a word, just walked around to the other side of the car and kept working. Good man for that. But I felt something that morning I hadn't felt before. Not quite pain, more like a door closing somewhere. Quietly. No drama, just this feeling that something had shifted and wasn't coming back on its own. That night I drove home, sat down at the kitchen table and didn't say anything to Carol. What was I going to say? Just sat there with my coffee, thinking about how long I'd been coasting. A year before that, my son Michael had been asking me, "Dad, let's go fishing. Let's do that trail." I kept putting it off. Work, clients, a car in the bay that needed to go out by Friday. He stopped asking. Not with anger. He just stopped. And I noticed it later than I should have. I don't know which is worse, when they get angry or when they just stop waiting. And I noticed it later than I should have. Because when you're running that hard, you don't notice anything except the next day. You just drive. No map. And you think you know the road. That was the beginning of something. Not a transformation, just the beginning of starting to notice. Sometimes that's enough to get you moving. Here's what I figured out, and I should have figured it out a lot sooner. A body after 45 isn't broken. It just forgives slowly. Those are different things. A car that's been sitting in a lot for 3 years isn't scrap metal. But you don't floor it the first day. You change the oil. you check the belts. You let the engine run before you go anywhere. The first principle is this: consistency beats intensity every time. I don't care what some 30-year-old trainer on YouTube tells you about high-intensity workouts and metabolism. For men our age, getting out every day for 15 minutes is worth more than going hard twice a month and pulling something. The second thing, and most men miss this, you're not training for results anymore. You're training for function. Can you carry groceries up the stairs without complaining about your knees? Can you spend 2 hours in the garden and still stand up straight at dinner? That's the standard now. Not abs. Function. Set the bar where you can actually clear it. My big athletic achievement last week: carried 2 bags of mulch to the shed without stopping. I'm good with that. Seriously. I'll tell you what I did myself. About 6 months after that Tuesday in the garage, I started just walking in the mornings. Not running, not doing crunches, just walked out the door at 6 a.m., went around the block for 20 minutes, and came back. That's it. The first 2 weeks felt ridiculous. Grown man, former military, shuffling down the sidewalk like a retiree. But then something changed. Not in the body, in the head. I started showing up to work a little calmer. Stopped snapping at the guys in the shop. Carol told me one day, "You're different at night. You don't toss around anymore." I didn't even know that had been a problem until it wasn't. That's what movement does. It doesn't burn fat in a week. It changes the background noise. And that matters more than any number on a scale. There's a third thing almost nobody talks about: sleep. I'm not going to lecture you about 8 hours, but here's what I noticed. When I started moving, I started sleeping better. Not because I was physically tired, because my body was finally getting what it was built for. Load. Simple human load. And it thanks you for that by letting you go at night. You know what most men do when they finally decide to get in shape? They go all in on Monday. New sneakers, new schedule, somehow also a new blender. By Thursday, they've either pulled a hamstring or just quietly quit. I did this. I did this probably 4 times, between 42 and 50. Every time it felt like a new start. Every time it ended the same way. Here's the mistake. You're trying to get back to who you were at 35. That man is gone. I'm not saying that to be harsh. I'm saying it because chasing him is what wears you out and gets you hurt. Your 35-year-old self was still working 14-hour days, eating whatever, sleeping 5 hours, and thinking that was fine. You don't actually want to be him. You want to feel good in the body you have right now. Those are 2 completely different goals. And when you stop confusing them, something shifts. You stop losing because you're finally fixing the right car. Not the one from 20 years ago. The one that's sitting in front of you right now. And one more mistake. Waiting for motivation to show up. Motivation isn't something that comes before you start. It comes after. You go outside, do something small, come back home, and that's when something clicks. But if you sit and wait until you feel like it, you'll never feel like it. That I know for certain. Here's what I want you to do this week. One thing. Tomorrow morning, not Monday, tomorrow, go outside and walk for 10 minutes. That's it. Don't time it. Don't track it on your phone. Don't make it an event. Just go out, walk somewhere, come back. 10 minutes. Do that 4 days this week. Not because it's going to change your body in 7 days. It won't. But because you need to remind yourself that you can start something and follow through. That feeling is worth more than the miles right now. I've talked to a lot of men my age, guys who worked hard their whole lives and woke up one day feeling like strangers in their own bodies. And almost none of them needed a program. They needed permission to start small without feeling stupid about it. So here it is. You have that permission. Small is fine. Slow is fine. Doing it badly is better than doing nothing perfectly. That's all I've got for today. Nothing complicated. No miracle system. Just a guy who figured some things out the hard way and thought maybe you'd want to hear it sooner than I did. If this landed, next week we talk about sleep, because without that, everything else I said today is just noise. And if this video was useful to you, hit the like button. Not for me, so that other men like you can find it. And subscribe. I'm here every week. No filler, no coaching nonsense, just a conversation. I'll be here.